Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Love and Light Show, where your special guest is Melissa Russell, and she is an amazing naturopath and personal trainer and life coach who has really awesome stuff for us today on revitalizing your health. So if you're feeling a little bit low on energy or just like you're not where you want to be with your health or your body or your fitness, definitely tune in. We have awesome content for you today, and tune in to the end because we have an amazing visualization that will support you as well. So definitely encourage you to say hi as you jump on live or as you hop on the replay later. We always love to engage with you, so feel free to share any questions or comments that you might have along the way and share it out to any friends or family members who you feel need to revitalize their health and have a little bit more energy or wellness into their life. So I'm Laura McPhee. I'm a happiness coach and healer, and I absolutely love to empower women through self-love and self-care to get to their dream happy lives. So I typically work with people pleasers and perfectionists, workaholics and caregivers, everyone who's putting everyone else first in their life. I help them release all the weight and pressure and burden off their shoulders so that they can move forward and truly live a happy, healthy, fulfilling, abundant life that they've been desiring. And this is the Love and Light Show. We're actually at a new time. It's going to be 1 p.m. on Mondays from now on, and I might be adding some new days of the week, kind of adding more guests along the journey and having some bonus episodes because I really enjoyed doing that before. So the Love and Light Show brings you different light workers and coaches and healers and awesome people doing heartfelt work in the world so that you can get little tastes of different modalities and get their tips and tricks and wisdom and tools into your life so that you can heal and move forward on your journey and that you can see what all is out there without having to experience all the million things yourself. You get little taste tests along the way. So I love bringing that to you so that you guys can be the change you want to see in the world, because it's so important for us to take that time and love ourselves and heal ourselves and do the work on ourselves so that we can then hold space for the loved ones that we have in our life, so we can do better for our families and our coworkers and our communities and really change the world the way that we want to make it a better place to live. And I see more people hopping on live, so feel free to say hi as you jump on live. And I'd love to introduce Melissa. So she is a naturopath, personal trainer, life coach who always enjoys helping others achieve ultimate health. So I'd love for you to explain a little bit more about what you do and your story, Melissa.
Thanks, Laura. I'm first off grateful to be here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you.
A little bit about me. So I do dabble in multi-modalities. I am a registered naturopath, certified personal trainer, and a certified life coach. And that really, they work congruently together. My main goal is to help people feel better, whether that is physically with nutrition or fitness, whether it is emotionally or mentally through the life coaching and visualization, grounding, mindfulness things, techniques. It's definitely a passion of mine to help improve the quality of others' lives. I've gone through some changes in my own life, some challenges, and that has definitely drawn me into this field of work. With naturopathy, it is a science-based and also intuition-based. So there are many modalities that we can draw from in naturopathy. And the big focus with what we do is to stay as close to the way nature intended things as possible. So when trying to rebalance, the physical body, the emotional body, the mental, or even the spiritual body, we're drawing from natural forms of treatment and natural solutions. So that is the way we were created through nature. And that should be a very natural road for people to follow, because it is the way we are meant to live and survive and grow and evolve. So I really enjoy that part of it. I did start off my own journey in Western medicine. I actually started off in the Bachelor of Nursing program directly out of high school here at UMBSJ. And through my own experience, I ended up following along a few different pathways and then ultimately finding naturopathy. So an injury led to the finality of my nursing career. I physically wasn't going to be able to continue doing that type of work. I did try a few different other types of employment, other positions, and they worked really well. I really enjoyed them, but they just didn't speak to my soul like healing other people and helping other people take control of their lives, empowering other people to find their ultimate health, strength, and balance. So I did end up coming back through the personal training first because my injury was a physical injury. It was a spinal cord injury. And with the personal training, there was a large component about nutrition. And I really learned how what we put in our body and how we treat our body really affects the outcome of the quality of life that we have.
Definitely.
So that started a little bit of curiosity on nutrition. So I got a little taste of it. And then I went through another course that was based on nutrition studies and applications and really broke things down to their main components, you know, the vitamins and the minerals and all the molecules and how they work in the body. And I was so intrigued. It was so interesting. But that was only a part of it. I knew, and I felt in my soul that physicality was only one spoke on the wheel. And we need all the spokes on the wheel in order to maintain the stability of that. So that brought me to naturopathy, and through naturopathy, many other modalities like the life coaching and herbology and using herbs and spices to treat ailments. So it's a very broad modality, but it's so interesting. And it's so amazing to see people reach that point where they truly feel empowered and in control. And, you know, it's amazing to witness that evolution and that moment when everything just switches and they are in the driver's seat and they realize, you know, most of the answers I need are within me. I just have to learn to listen.
I love that so much.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up here. And that's how I ended up doing what I love to do every day.
Awesome. And I'm so excited. It's like perfect timing because I just got done my Life Wealth Mastery journey. And that was like a cleanse, like a total detoxification of your body to get you back to neutral and then adding all of the amazing raw foods back into your life. We had salads for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's
Nice.
like salad buffets all over the place all the time. We did wheatgrass shots every day. It was like amazing to experience and to be in that energy of everyone who was focusing on vital nutrition and making sure that that was like the staple of our energy. We had like a nutrition every 3 hours. So like we always, even on the like cleansing part where we're doing juices, they always gave us juice or like a ginger shot or something to keep our energy and all that up throughout it. And it was absolutely amazing. So I love that we're talking about nutrition today. So how do you help your clients with nutrition and make sure that that foundational piece is there for them?
So nutrition is a very strong part of the foundation for building that quality and that vitality of life. Our bodies are amazing how they use things. And we've come into a time now where it's very confusing about food, whether it should be low fat or low sugar or high carb or low carb, or there's all these different nutritional plans that one can follow. And my approach to nutrition with clients is that there is no specific plan for everyone to follow.
We're all so different.
We're all so different. We're so unique, you know, even identical twins who, you know, share DNA can have a body that reacts or a mind or a spirit that reacts to foods very differently. There are different religious or spiritual, avoidances or aversions. There's different pathways that people take based on their belief system. So, you know, one nutritional program is not going to work for everyone. And some people require more of certain types of nutrients because of what they do for work. So you have to take into account somebody's lifestyle, their social circles, their hobbies, their employment, physical demands in employment, their age, their gender. All of that comes into effect. And then most importantly, the individual themselves. What do they feel the most balanced? What do they feel the most symmetry with? So I have clients who come in and, maybe they're vegan, and that's great. I'm not, but that's okay. I don't promote one type of nutrition plan over another. Ultimately, it is about working with the client to determine what works best for them. And what works best for them that we can get to with a few minor changes, rather than taking what you're already doing in your life and completely throwing a 180 in. That's where dieting comes in, and diets don't work because they're temporary. Right. They're not sustainable. Making a drastic change in your nutrition intake is not going to be something you're going to be able to do for a very long time if it doesn't make you feel good, if it doesn't make you happy. Mm-hmm. Fasting and detoxing, those type of programs are usually short. It's a week fast or a detox or a 60-hour fast. And it may involve a liquid fasting. So you may still be having herbal teas and bone broth and things like that, but you're not having solid foods. And those are done in the short term. But in the long term, the biggest question that I pose to my clients is, what are you prepared to commit to for the rest of your life?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we start with some very small changes, developing a plan. Once you have the plan, then we can work backwards from that and look at what are the steps to achieve or to follow that plan and achieve the ultimate goal. So once we know what the steps are, then we know where the first step is, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't need to see the whole staircase. We just need to take that first step. But having a plan definitely helps keep people motivated, and it helps keep us accountable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. And I like that you do the baby steps, because a lot of people feel like they need to do a million things at once, and then they get overwhelmed, and we'll do that really well for a couple of days. Like you were saying, like in the short term, maybe they'll do okay at it, and then like completely gone like a couple months later. It's like, well, it's a lifestyle change. It's way better to make little baby steps over time than be like, screw it, I'm not going to do anything and just like be disempowered. So I love that you empower people with that. And Robin was actually saying that she's being drawn to herbs and looking forward to learning more. So that's so cool. I love that she's feeling drawn to the more holistic and natural way of doing things. That's super exciting. So how do you help people create those realistic goals so that they can make those little changes sustainably over time?
So looking again at the lifestyle, and that's part of what we're going to get into with the visualization exercise that we're going to do. The big thing is getting very specific and very precise on what your actual goal is. So many people have heard of SMART goals, and it is kind of the avenue that I'm following with the theory behind this visualization exercise. So we want to have goals that are very specific. I want to be healthier. That's a very broad term. So what is it right now that makes you feel that you're not at your ultimate health? What are the things that you want to change that once you accomplish those will make you feel healthier? So getting very specific on the goals definitely helps us plan those steps so that we can follow that pathway and then accomplish that goal and feel that empowerment. Those little wins along the way on those baby steps really start to amp up our energy and our enthusiasm and that sense of accomplishment.
Definitely.
So we definitely use the SMART goals. So we want something that's very specific, preferably something that we can measure in some way or form. Now, there are going to be people that have intangible goals. Maybe it's not to lose 20 pounds or to be able to bicep curl, 10 pounds for 3 sets of 10. Maybe the intangible goal is, I want to feel more self-confident, right? I want to be able to go to the beach in my swimsuit and feel vitality and health, but I also want to feel accomplished and confident and, like I could take on the world, right? Yeah. So we need to have those measurable goals. And if they are intangible goals, we also have to kind of determine how we're going to know once we've reached them, right? The achievable goals, losing 20 pounds in 2 weeks is not an achievable goal. So we really look at that. Usually I'll ask people if their goal is to lose weight or if their goal is to reduce their blood sugar. If we're looking at numbers, what number are we aiming for? And then what is the duration that you're envisioning it's going to take to get there? So that gives me a good idea if we're on the same page about the journey being a healthy journey and not a quick fix, right? Trying to lose 20 pounds for your cousin's wedding in July when it's June 18th is not a real goal. And it's just going to set us up for frustration or unhealthy steps that are going to get us there, right? Then we look at the relevance of the goal. So what's the reason for the goal? What is the benefit going to be for you, right? And then time base. Again, how long is it going to take us to get there? So our SMART goals are very important in getting that clarity of what the actual goal is. Once we know what those actual goals are, then we work together. What are we willing to do to get there?
Right.
What are the changes that you're willing to make, and what is a realistic and a sustainable change that you're willing to make? So I'm really going to focus on trying to incorporate more vegetables in my meals, at least twice a day. That's a very specific step that we can take if we have that, excuse me, that defined specific goal and we have a timeline and we can quantify it, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love that. And that you can like go through the list, kind of like how my old corporate mind is like, ooh, you can have those steps.
Yes.
Very cool.
It definitely helps when you have the steps too, because like grocery shopping, when you pull one thing off the shelf and you put it in the cart, you can check it off the list. Now your list of things that need to be done or need to be gained starts getting smaller and smaller and more manageable. Right. And then we can also direct our focus to those remaining steps, and we don't have to allot so much effort and time to the steps you've already accomplished. Once you've accomplished those, then we just work on maintaining them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that plan, when we put that in place, that creates accountability. So I generally check in with my clients who are focusing on nutrition. I check in with them more frequently, usually as a weekly consultation, until we start getting some momentum and we start getting that willpower muscle a little bit stronger. And then they may become in a little bit more infrequent. But that accountability breeds the results, right?
Yeah,
it's definitely the foundation for achieving those results is maintaining that accountability to yourself, to your coach, your family. So talking about what the goals are is very important.
For sure. And having that supportive community is so important to make those sustainable changes too.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, people that are going along the same journey. It doesn't mean that you have to cut everyone out of your life who's not on a journey like that or who's not like-minded, but we definitely want to give more emphasis to those people that are supporting the journey. Ultimately, it's your journey. It's the client's individual path, and no two people walk the same path. No two people will interpret the struggles and the successes, the accomplishments, the fears. No two people will interpret those the same way. So nobody will truly understand your journey other than you. Some of us can relate, even me as a coach, I can relate, but the journey is very unique. So it's very important that we follow along and create something unique for each client.
And also not to judge the journey, because I find that a lot of people do that like all the time, and they judge themselves or even judge themselves to older versions of themselves that did better at things before, or like their sister or friend or whoever, they're like, oh, I should be doing this or should that, and it should look like this. And it's like, no, your journey is individual to you, and it's exactly perfect as it is right now. Like, you're learning the lessons you need to learn, and you'll keep making those baby steps forward. And one thing that we did a lot when we were going through nutrition, people had questions and they're like, well, what about adding meat back in or adding different things? And it's like, well, compared to what? Couldn't you just make a better choice? So instead of like a fried chicken, have like actual chicken. Like, what can you do compared to what you used to be doing? So if you're just making those positive baby steps, like, oh, you added carrots into your diet. You wouldn't have had carrots before. Like, I've been stocking on carrots all the time because I used to kind of like chips and crackers. I like to crunch. So I've been having like hummus and like carrots all day long whenever I'm like feeling a little bit hungry. So like it's compared to what? Like it's not like it has to be a complete revamp of everything. It's just like you're doing a little bit better than you used to. And over time that will compound over and over and over to breed extraordinary results.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's an analogy I use with my clients frequently is making small changes over a long period of time, which is what we're looking for. Sustainability is going to get you farther than making drastic changes that we're not able to maintain. So we just make a small change and then we build the next layer on top and we build the next layer on top. And it's like the horse in the well. The horse who fell down the well, the farmer felt bad and was going to bury the horse. And every shovel full of dirt that was thrown down the well, the horse would shake it off and step on top. And eventually he climbed his way out. And I use that a lot with my clients because it's not going to happen overnight. Getting to the point where they're starting with me didn't happen overnight. So whether their blood sugar is extremely high and now they're pre-diabetic and they're trying to change their habits in order to bring their blood glucose down, or they're trying to manage hyperlipidemia or high cholesterol, the changes that they're making, if we layer those small little changes, they're sustainable and eventually we will get to the goal. They didn't get to that point overnight. It's taken many years to get there, and it could take many years to come completely out of that. So being patient is definitely key. Not perfection. Persistence and patience will get us to the goal.
And being excited about those progresses without feeling like it has to be all of a sudden, because we're kind of in the society where people want like magic pills and instant blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that's really damaging to people. Like I was at another event and it was centered around holistic health and wellness and those kind of things. And someone stood up and was like, I've been doing really well for 2 months. Why did I get sick? Why is my body doing this? And it's like, well, we'd have to look at your entire lifestyle and what you're doing, but also you're in the middle of your life and you went through health crises. So it's not going to flip over the matter of 2 months. Like in my head, I'm like, I've been doing this since I was 20 and I still get sick. I still have things. I'm still improving by adding more shakes or nutrition or different things into my life and removing old things and sugar and processed stuff. Like I'm still on this journey and doing amazing things, but my body will still react in different ways when you introduce something else into your life or when you like go out for a couple times in a week. Like it's so important for people to see that like connection and to be like, this took decades. Like your cells were built by the food that you put into it. So if you had junk going in, junk was what you kind of made your body out of. So that's what you have to continuously move through. And it's amazing because our cells and bones and tissues and stuff totally regenerate. So we can make new versions of ourselves. It's just, it takes some time to do that because it took some time to do it in the first place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Robin's agreeing. She said, well said. And she is growing her own herbs. So I'm super excited about that. And she was wondering, what do you recommend for grounding for herbs?
For herbs for grounding, I don't tend to actually use a lot of herbs for grounding. I actually tend to use a lot of crystals and stones.
Awesome. Same.
As well as physical grounding. So just growing your own herbs in the garden is beneficial for grounding. Get your hands and feet in the soil. The earth is constantly being recharged with electrical energy. We're in the daytime, in the nighttime, we're hit about 100 times a day by lightning, mostly right around the equator, and it recharges the earth. So getting to the beach, get your feet in the sand, get your hands in the garden, in the soil. And even if you are starting plants indoors, you're still using soil, right? Which comes from the earth. So it is going to have energy charge to it. So planting your own herbs is the best source of grounding. And then utilizing different herbs. There's plenty of herbs out there and spices that can help with reduction of inflammation, which can help you feel more grounded. There are herbs out there that can help with relaxation, with sleep, calming the body. Valerian root is an excellent one for helping with that calmness and sleep. So is ashwagandha, which is used for everything from PTSD to insomnia. So there's many herbs that can be used, but if you want to start at the very beginning, just planting those is actually going to be great grounding for you.
Awesome. And she did mean in general, so that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. So do you want to get into the visualization?
Okay, excellent. So anybody wants to carry on and play along, this is generally what I do with my clients is I have them kind of close their eyes so that they can actually see the picture, the images in their head, and then they can draw from that. Later, you can write some of these things down so that you can check in with those and see if we're accomplishing those goals and if we're taking those steps and check the things off the list. So number one, close your eyes, visualize yourself. It is June 18th, 2019, 1 year from today. And you have accomplished that goal that you've set out for your ultimate health, strength, balance. Imagine that you've achieved the goal, and how does that feel? How does it feel emotionally, physically, spiritually? What do you feel as you look at that image of yourself in that form of ultimate health? How does it look? What are you doing? What are your actions? Are you playing with your kids in the yard? Are you gardening? What does it look like? And what do you hear? What are you saying? What language are you using? When you're talking with your friends, your family, how are you speaking? So once you have that image of the ultimate health and what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, how did it impact your life? Achieving that goal, what changes did you see in your life by achieving that goal? And some of those changes might be emotional, they may be physical, they could be professional changes, they could be relationship changes. So now that you have that clear image of the goal accomplished, what it looks like, sounds like, feels like, how it's impacted your life, picture yourself as you are now and compare the two side by side. So when looking at the accomplished goal version of yourself, what has prevented your current version of yourself from getting to that point? Do you see any roadblocks? Do you see any hurdles that we haven't overcome yet? And identify them. What skills or tools or resources helped you overcome those blockages to get to that ultimate goal version of yourself? Can you see the things that had to happen? The things that you needed to let go of, learn, the people you needed to connect with, the changes that you needed to make physically, mentally, emotionally? And what specific steps did you take to get to that goal? So from the current version of yourself to the accomplished goal version of yourself, visualize the steps that you had to take along that journey. What did we need to change? What did we need to bring in? And what did we need to let go of? So you can open your eyes. So now we have a very clear picture of what your ultimate health looks like. Not something you've seen in a magazine or you've watched on TV or somebody in the room who you idealize.
Right.
In yourself, in your version of ultimate health, because it's different for everybody. So what I recommend is that clients take a moment after that visualization and write those things down. What did I look like? What was I doing? Was I running and jumping and playing with my kids? Was I, fishing at the lake on the weekend. Was I stressed? Was I relaxed? What does it look like? So then it's specific. It's measurable. And then a lot of times, most of my clients have the answers within themselves. Yes. They know what is preventing them from accomplishing that ultimate health and what they need to change. Sometimes there's confusion about the order in which those changes need to happen. So with the visualization of the current versus the goal achieved a year from now, we can kind of look at what steps did I need to take? What was I doing, right? Maybe I needed to change my career path. Maybe I needed to change how I approach my present career. Maybe I need to let go of some things that really aren't that big of a deal, but I'm stressing on them, right? Maybe I need to change my eating habits. Maybe I need to go to the gym one more day a week or walk to the post office rather than stopping in my car on the way home. So it really helps clients get very clear when you have a clear goal and when you have a clear idea of what you need to change to get there and then how to do it. Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to learn? What tools do I need to incorporate in this? It's very, very easy to stay on your path to ultimate health, strength, and balance with all of those defined.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Other people we got some thumbs up. I'm totally hearing an echo right now. That's why I'm like, ooh. And Robin said, wonderful, thank you. And letting go of fear. Yeah, fear is a big one. Definitely for a lot of people.
Certainly is.
And it's important to know that like the fears will come up on those different parts of your journey. You can just bring them along the way and not give them any control. Like they don't have the power to control your next step, your actions, being aware that by doing it, you're going to get outside your comfort zone and let go of those fears as you do it. And I just jumped off a pole that was like 50 feet high a week and a half ago to like put that visualization onto it. Like, what is your why? Why are you doing this? What fears are you letting go of? And we all did this big pole jump. And it was so important to see all the lessons that you could learn from that fear and the different things that everyone got from it. Even like, I wanted to have the most easy and joyful one. So I'm like, okay, how can I be resourceful? So I asked the guy who's harnessing me in, how would he do it? What does he see is the best way to do it? And I practiced on the platform beforehand. Like, it's fine to practice things and see how you're going to come up against something. Like, if you're like, sometimes I get really terrible at the office because some people are like, okay, I control my home, and I'm really grateful that I completely control my home and my office, so I don't have like donuts. Someone put a picture in the group that we were in after, someone had donuts, and it's like, you can practice beforehand, like, no thanks, I have this. Like, you can bring your own thing for like a weekly meeting where everyone has junk and stuff that's there. Like, there's so many things that you can do and really visualize beforehand how you're going to change that and release those fears and ensure that that's not going to be the thing that takes over and wins, that you're in control of your body and that you can be resourceful and be empowered to change for your life.
Absolutely. Hit the nail on the head. And it is your journey. It is your life. It is your decision, whether you give those fears the energy or whether you look at the fears and then determine how you're going to overcome that. Remember, fear, false evidence appearing real. Exactly. That's all up here. When we listen to this, how does it make me feel? What am I going to feel after? I often ask myself when I'm tempted by things that I shouldn't be having. I know in my head I shouldn't be having them. I have that fear of rejection or judgment if I don't partake when there's a large group. But I usually ask myself, is my future self, when I'm home and I'm by myself and I don't have all this influence around me, is she going to thank me for this, or is she going to want to kick me in the butt?
Right.
We want to make those choices for us because that's what everybody else is doing as well. But it is a natural instinct to have that little bit of fear sometimes of change, of judgment, of not fitting in. Remember, that's all up here.
Yes, exactly. They're all created fears. And she
Absolutely.
said, everything for myself is simple and it felt calming. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And definitely feel free to share your experience with that visualization. We're going to wrap up soon, but even if you're catching the replay, I'd love to hear from you guys how that was for you, to share it out to any friends or family members that you're like, oh my gosh, this needs to be in your life. You need to visualize it. And it's important to visualize because a lot of the energy and attention and focus that we put on is our fears and our worries and that negative energy. And where your attention goes, energy flows to it. So it's so important that we are mindful of what we're thinking of. And I love that you did this future visualization because it'll pull us instead of like keep us stuck in what we're at and not really see the instant results in the like second that we make a shift. It's that bigger pull, that long-term pull. And we did a ton of that during the Tony Robbins things. And it's like absolutely incredible. I highly recommend any Tony Robbins event that you can get to. It's incredible. But yeah, doing that visualization again, if you're feeling stuck with anything, to get your details written down around what you do have to do, those action steps or those little nudges that your subconscious, that like the universe or God is giving you in that moment to be like, you know what you need to do, you know what your next baby step is, and that's how you can move forward. So I really encourage you guys to share that out with anyone who you feel needs it and to do it again whenever you feel called to it. So I'd love for you to share how people can get in touch with you after the show and all the cool things that you're doing in your world.
Absolutely. So I am on Facebook. You can find my page, MudduSa Russell ND. I do have a book button there, so you can also get in touch with my business directly to inquire about booking an appointment. You can email Melissa, Melissa, at vitalive.ca. That's VITALIVE.ca. If you have any questions, any concerns, if you feel that I could be of service to you, or if you know anyone that I may be able to be of service to them, I'm happy to sit down and have a brief conversation about what your goals are and if I can help and what programs or plans we could work out. And if we decide to work together from there, I would be ever grateful for the opportunity to serve.
Awesome. Thank you. And do you want to put those links in the comments right below so that they can easily comment that? You can do it after the show so that it'll be easier for you to do.
Yeah, I'll put the office phone number in there as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And she's local to St. John, guys. I love that you're from UMBSJ. I am too.
Yes.
And then Robin said, that's what I have felt guided to and gave me confirmation. Simplify. Yes, it's important to simplify. I get those a lot because I'll tend to go into my old tendency of doing a million things and being like, ooh, all the pretty things, and let's do a million things all at once. And it's important to simplify and focus on those most important steps, like the whole 80-20 rule is important to think of. So simplifying and making sure you're making the most impactful changes that will benefit you is important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So thank you so much for being on here today, Melissa. I got so much knowledge and information, and I'm sure everyone else did too. I love that visualization, and I like totally miss the longer visualizations of like Tony Robbins. It made me crave more. It like pulls you. So definitely like take some time and like sit with it afterwards, you guys. Like visualize it in more depth and like go through like the different categories of your life for it as well, like whatever you feel called to, so you can get the most benefit from that type of visualization. And I encourage you guys to make the Love and Light show a weekly habit in your life so that you can get all the wonderful benefits of these amazing coaches and healers and light workers who are sharing their wisdom and knowledge and exercises with you so that you can have a better life. So it'll be next time, Monday at 1 Atlantic, 12 Eastern. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'm sending you so much love and light. Bye.